Welcome back everybody, Chris Briggs here, and today we are finishing the Stinger RS build. Now this is the finale in the series. This is week 3 of this build, and we have one bag left. That's bag 5, and it's 6 of them together. So this is probably going to be the longest bag, I imagine. And because there's still a lot to do. As you can see, we're missing wheels, front fenders, part of the hood. It looks like we got intercoolers to install on the front here, as well as the roof. Of course, we need A-pillars, we need a roof. Still a lot to go. So bag 5 is going to have a lot of the main components left to really finish off this car. And so far, this has been a really good build. Now bag 4 did throw some issues in, which you can check out in the link below with last week's build. But overall, with this brand, I've had a really good experience. Let me know in the comments if you've had a different experience with this, and if you're building it now, what do you think? Did you already finish it? Send me some pictures on Instagram on what yours looks like, and did you do any modifications or left it stock? I know some people like to modify their builds. I keep mine stock. I guess I'm kind of boring, but either way, we have bag 5 to go. Hopefully it's not a 2.5 hour bag, but we'll see. So let's build. as you can see, the 5th and final bag is done. That's right, we have finished the Stinger RS. Now, overall, this has been an amazing build. It has been one of my more difficult builds, mostly because I'm trying to rush things. I say this over and over again. These kind of sets you really can't rush. You need to take your time on, because you just see something that's off by one hole, or maybe you have it twisted just because you're trying to place it at an angle that's convenient to you to put it together, but you left it there instead of placing it at the angle that shows in the manual, and that throws you off the rest of the way. So take your time with it. But overall, fit, finish, feel, it's been great. With the exception of my pieces in the back here. Let's see, which side was it? Yep, this side here, where I had to apply the craggle to get them to hold on, and the one melted piece. Other than that, all the pieces have been great. Honestly, if it was a blind test, you would not be able to tell the difference between Lego Technic and this set. For the most part, the pieces slotted in pretty easily. Towards the later bags, actually, the connectors were a little tougher to snap in. Coincidence, maybe my fingers were getting fatigued from all the connectors you had to put in there, so they're just sore and didn't want to push any of them in anymore. But overall, fit, finish, everything has been great. I mean, you can look at this. It looks good. Best thing about this set, there is one sticker. That's it. One sticker. Now, there's an asterisk with that. That one sticker is probably the most pain-in-the-butt style sticker that you're ever going to run into. And the reason is, if any of you at home have a Cricut and you cut out those stickers for like labels and stuff, and you have the transfer tape to put it on, and you have to make sure everything's rubbed in. Well, this style sticker is a transfer tape style sticker, just so you know. And as you can see, the RS is off-centered. And that's because first, when I tried peeling it off, not realizing it was a transfer, because of course I didn't read the warning underneath it, typical me. But I peeled it off, and only ST out of Stinger came on the little clear piece. And I'm like, did I just break the sticker? No, it's a transfer tape sticker. So I had to line it back on there, had to push really hard to pull off the entire sticker. Now, I forgot to position where my hands were when I put it on this piece, and once I did, it's on. The transfer tape was not going to peel this back off so I could more center it. Nope, was not happening. So where you put it on is where it's going to stay, so make sure your stuff is centered. You'll sit there, you'll push on the transfer tape, peel it off, and then you just have the raised lettering. Now, the sticker itself is a really good quality, really nice. I really like the sticker. I just hate myself for not paying attention a little bit more on it. But I guess that's a theme of this with building it, right? But as you can see, it looks really good. Now, features of this car. Of course, we have an opening hood, as you can see. I do wish that they took the time to put like a little peg here. What was it? The broom handle in one of the Ferraris that I built. Oh, the FXXK had the little broom handle in the back. That would have been nice here, just to kind of pop it up, because it won't hold up by itself. It's too loose. You can't keep it up because the window, the window seal right here, that's gonna block it from staying all the way up, which is fine. You don't need to have it up, because underneath, honestly, all you're seeing is a steering rack and the mechanics behind that, which my son, who's really into mechanical movements and everything, appreciates that. Of course, we have the front end. What I liked here is that they use these old school fencing from the really old Lego sets that you find. So that really brought back memories when I saw these. They used that for grill inserts. Great idea. Really liked it. There we go. You can kind of see it now. And then they use those lined 2 bricks and made it look like little intercoolers or radiator coolers or whatever Porsche has for these or their purpose. But, we got the headlights up front. We got the splitter down here. big old intake. Everything looks good. Of course, you know, we got actually quite a bit of travel for the suspension on this one. This one, you know, maybe it's a Dakar edition, I don't know. But we get the side profile. Looks pretty good, you know? We got that Porsche kind of look. You got the 2 scoops on the back for the air intake. There's a better view. And you do have the fixed spoiler. The spoiler is fixed. You can't change this angle. This is how it's going to be. So you can kind of see it looks like that. That's kind of how it is. I wish it was more out flat, but what are you going to do? Honestly, it's a cool looking spoiler. I like how they put it together. I thought it was really neat. Now, of course, we have doors that open, close, fit good. You know, nothing to say about fitment with the doors. We don't get them jammed on anything. They shut. This side is slightly looser to open and close, but it doesn't get stuck like the Pagani did. So that's awesome. Of course, the rear hatch opens up so you can see all of its glory right there. There, let's put that up closer there. And as you can see, we have the engine. Right now, I wonder if I have it out of gear, which is what we're going to get to in a second. But as you can see there, you got the nice chrome accents to the top of the engine. And of course, you can see the gear selector right here, which actually is semi-functional. I know it's hard to see with this angle. But so when you have it all the way forward, I found it's like a higher gear. So, or lower gear. And you could feel the resistance in the car when pushing it. It's almost like if you started your car in 4th gear, it'd be a go to accelerate. And that's kind of how this one is. And then when you have it all the way back, it seems to be, I guess, a lower gear, but a higher gear, where it accelerates a little quicker. So you can almost shift gears. And I found middle is actually kind of a neutral. Like, it still rolls and everything, but the engine itself does not move. Let me see if I can capture the see how. I don't know how well. Maybe I'll have to take a separate shot of that one, how it functions and everything. And maybe I'll drop it right here. Low gear. Neutral. High gear. But as you can see, you know, it does have some gear functionality, which is really cool. I thought that was pretty amazing. You can even feel it, and almost like a stick shift when you don't push the clutch in and you try to slam it in the gear and it makes a creak sound. This does the same thing. If you're sitting here pushing it and you try to throw it into like the low gear, it gives you like a resistance and it sounds like it's gonna break or something. It groans, it creaks a little bit, so it kind of gives you that realistic feature. As I put in there, I pulled off part of the dash, so I had to put it back. We got the rear here, we got the quad exhaust, we got the new style Porsche taillight, and of course we have this little taillight up here, tiny little spoiler up top here. Now this one here, it's gonna look like you have to connect it on the front part of this piece. That's not the case. You're gonna connect it more towards the middle of the piece, just so you know, because I was trying to connect it to the front part of this gray piece, and it would not connect evenly whatsoever. You either wanted to be offset this way or that way. And I found out it's because the instructions weren't quite clear on this, where exactly it wanted you to put it. But once you realize it's kind of the middle of the piece where it wants to set in, fit beautifully, looks good. So, I realized I forgot to tell you times. Bag 5 took about 1 hour and 49 minutes. So, almost 2 hours. I guess it's good that it wasn't 2.5 hours, considering it was the last bag and we had As you can see, we had to put on the fenders, headlights, roof, engine cover, as well as kind of the pillars and everything, which I really like on this one. I really like how the pillars look on this. They're sleek. They use both the, rubber pieces to kind of flow, but they also use the harder pieces here. Not like the terrible ones on the Ford GT that I hated, that Lego built. Lego does a lot of good things, but that was just awful. They fell apart all the time. These ones are connected with all the little, from last week's video, keep it positive, all the little plus symbol connectors. That's where we're holding these ones on, and that's why they're holding so tightly on there, which I like. And on that note for bag 5, my motto from last week of keep it positive, if you want to have a good time with this bag, you need to remember that. Keep it positive. Keep the plus sign up and straight, because you'll see from the time lapse, I messed with this a lot. I forgot. I remembered sometimes and I forgot other times, and you'll see me struggle to get these pieces pushed on, especially the fenders and that, because everything seemed to be a plus symbol. So I did not keep it positive, and it made it miserable. So just remember, keep it positive, especially with this set, especially with bag 5. Otherwise, you're going to have a rough time when you got to connect about 8 different plus signs in here, and they're all slightly, twisted so they won't go in. And, Technic sets, they're not exactly the most sturdy. When you squeeze them, they kind of squish together a little bit. They flex, so it's not the easiest to push them together. So keep it positive, especially for bag 5. Now, underneath the car, not too much to look at. We got the wheels. I noticed the suspension has a slightly offset, kind of outwards. Forget the technical term for that, but I'm just a regular guy building Legos. So nothing too special there. You can see the drivetrain and kind of see the transmission up in this area here where it's going to shift and everything. But let's get you a better view of this. There we go. Overall, I highly recommend this set. This set has been fun, very challenging, kills the fingers a bit, and it looks really good. This is a good looking set. I missed out on the Porsche GT3 RS from Lego. At the time I couldn't afford it, especially can't afford it right now with some of those scalping prices on it. And you never know if you're gonna get a fake one anyways. So this is an amazing alternative to that set. Yeah, you don't get the cool bright orange, but the black and gray with the blue accents, the blue on the seats, which I absolutely love, well worth it, especially for the price point. This is I believe, sub $100 set, and you're getting 2,400 pieces. You're getting somewhat shifting capabilities. You get functionality with doors, hood, engine cover, everything opens, even if this one kind of needs a broomstick to keep it open. You don't have to deal with stickers. You get full suspension, And as you saw from the little video I took, you see the engine, it looks gorgeous. It has that nice silver touch, which I really appreciate. I really like that silver touch to it. And overall, I don't really have any complaints. Now this is my first set with this brand. Maybe I definitely am going to get a different set with it. Definitely going to look in to see what other ones they have, because for the price point, it's worth the risk. And I'm hoping I don't get burned on that, or burn you, the viewer, watching this wondering, oh yeah, he said it was great and now I had a horrible time with it. This is just my opinion. This is the only set I've ever built from them. And, I know, you're probably wondering, who is this set? I've been avoiding saying it because when you look it on Google, I don't know how to pronounce it, but NifeliZ? I'm sorry, I just, I can't pronounce it. I'm not gonna lie. And if the company wants to reach out and give me a proper pronunciation of it, I appreciate it. And this is something I didn't talk about the whole time, and I absolutely love this thing. They give you a bookmarker so you can keep your page. With Lego sets, I just throw in the stickers to kind of have as my bookmarker. They actually take the time to give you a nice little bookmarker, and because, as you can see from the back, I read a lot of books, so I'll probably use this for my regular books as well. But cool little touch, along with the extra boxes. I didn't end up using the boxes for the pieces, but they give you spare boxes in this set. And overall, it's been pretty good. Which reminds me, because I'm jumping all around, I'm just trying to get everything in that I can on this video. Overall time on this was 8 hours and 4 minutes, a little bit over that, which isn't too bad for 2,400 pieces. Here and there I had to redo things because I read the instructions too fast. Instructions have been great. They've been very clear. They outline everything so that way you can see it very well. They break up the bags, which I highly recommend actually, even if it's slightly slower to do. Break the bags up. They tell you exactly what bags are for what steps, so that way you don't have 800 pieces in front of you and you're trying to find that one black connector amongst the other 700 black pieces. So overall, like I said, very happy with the set. You can expect to find this brand again on this channel because why not, right? I had a great experience. Maybe I'll have a bad experience next time, and I'll be honest with you. I'll let you know. I already told you the 2 bad things I ran into this and gave you some tips to make this building experience a little better with keep it positive. Definitely remember that. Spare parts, tons of connectors. So if you're missing anything but a connector, check the bag, check the box, check the floor. Because this is what you're left over with. About a quarter cup worth of connector pieces in case you want to bake a Porsche 911 Stinger RS, right? Now, next week, my fingers need a rest, so it's going to be something a little simpler, but it is going to be a LEGO 2026 release. And here is your hint. Now this set was great. I was looking forward to it. I liked it as soon as I saw it. It wasn't the 2026 release I wanted, and we all know which one we're talking about that's sold out everywhere, can't get your hands on because unless you were a special creator, you didn't get the version of it before it released, And I'm greatly disappointed I haven't been able to find it at my local Target or anywhere. But once I get it, that will be on the channel as well. So I hope everybody has enjoyed this series, had a great time with this build. If you are building this, let me know in the comments. What did you think? Did you run into any issues? Did you have any missing pieces? Did you have the same experience? Was it great for you? Everything looks great to me, but maybe you had a different experience. If you like what you see here, subscribe, follow the channel, hit the bell, get notifications. I upload every Friday at 10 a.m. and I've been pretty consistent so far. I think I delivered this video, or last week's video, a little bit late because I was sick, but life comes and you can't really change things sometimes. But I'm also on Instagram. I'm trying to remember everything I got to say to close this out right here. Come join me. We're almost at 500 followers, which is absolutely amazing. And this channel, we're up to 29 subscribers, which is also amazing. I can't believe that, earlier in the week we lost 1, but we gained 4. But that's just awesome. For a small channel like this, every subscriber matters. Everybody who watches, it makes it that much more awesome that you're joining me on this journey. And I really appreciate every one of you that do. And for the 98% who watch and don't subscribe, just takes a second to click. Even if you want to like it and don't want to subscribe, whatever floats your boat. I'm just here to have fun and build Lego sets. Or block sets, I should say, not specifically Lego. Also, just a note about this channel. We're no longer primarily watched on the big screen 50-inch TVs. We're on phone, but TV is a close second. So I find that interesting that a lot of you watch me on a TV at home. I never thought I'd be like some kind of movie star, but pretty awesome. I could deal with that. Maybe it's because all smart TVs have YouTube as a option on the app. So who knows? But anyways, blabbing on here. You guys all have a great, wonderful week and keep building.